I'd love to talk to you about small business. There have been some policies here that are definitely worth talking about. So the one that I'm going to jump to first is a tax break, and I'm calling it a true tax break of 20% on expenses, predominantly digital expenses. So things that will bring your small business into the digital age: laptops, e-invoicing like Xero, cloud computing, cybersecurity, web design, but critically also for staff training courses, which
that's good.
I think is a really, really good initiative. Yeah. Particularly in a period where we have really low unemployment, it can be hard to find the right staff, and being able to train your own staff to do the roles that you need to fit is a great thing.
Absolutely.
It's a great thing for staff. It's a great thing for the economy as a whole. So I'm labeling this a true 20% tax break because if you're a business owner, you might be saying to yourself, yeah, but these things are already tax deductible. If I spend money on a laptop for work, I get the deduction. I spend $1,000, I get $1,000 as a deduction. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is that the government is offering if you spend $1,000, a $1,200 deduction, so 120% of the cost.
That's great.
So that's how that true 20% tax break was. It's 20% higher than it was before. Now, I know that that's not a tax offset, that's a tax deduction. And so for most business owners, that's probably going to work out that instead of getting that 20% back in cash, you spend $1,000, you get the $1,200 deduction. You're not getting $200 more money in your pocket. You're probably only getting $50 to $70 in your pocket most of the time. But
it's not bad.
It's better than nothing. Yeah. And I think it's promoting the right areas too. So thumbs up. Subsidies for employers taking new apprentices. Again, this dovetails into the idea that we need skilled workers. Apprentices is a wonderful channel to do that. So there are some particular areas where our subsidies are going to be higher, but I think this is net good. It's a good policy and it should be maintained. Now let's talk about the shit stuff. Temporary full expensing, not extended. And this jargon way of saying it, temporary full expensing, is describing something that was set up a few years ago by the coalition, whereby if you, as a business owner, they were trying to encourage that we all spend money as business owners, I beg your pardon. And so they said, well, if you want to buy a laptop, for instance, in the past, if you spend $3,000 on that laptop, you can't just get a tax deduction for it in year one. You actually have to write that off over its usable life, which means that the tax benefit gets lagged. And they said, well, actually bring that forward. And so when you purchase something, even if its usable life is over many years, you can get an immediate tax deduction for it. Now, that was something that they've just continued to roll over. Every budget they've said, we'll extend that for another year, we'll extend that for another year. But this year, niente. They've said that's enough. So the implication here is that if the coalition get elected, and then if they keep their electoral promises, which so we're drawing a long line here, but if those things happen in succession, and then you, as a small business owner, if you want to make purchases, you should start planning to try to make those purchases before June the 30th, 2023, because otherwise you're probably going to get an inferior tax outcome in terms of your cash flow. Yeah. And the last point here is around skilled migration. I've written down where the bloody hell are they? Because when you have, as a small business owner myself, the employment shortages are a problem. It's hard to find good people. And a way that is fixed is through migration. Migration has a lot of other benefits, of course, particularly for skilled migration. You are you're essentially increasing income tax. You're creating more competition in the overall sector. It's a good thing. And the government has in this budget has tracked the target of 160,000 skilled migrants. But that is exactly the same as their target was pre-COVID.
No change.
Yeah, no change. and that sucks. It should be higher. I just can't understand why they wouldn't have made that number higher and encouraged that we have more skilled migrants coming to the country, which is better for the economy as a whole. So disappointing in my eyes. And
strange.
Yeah, it's a strange policy.